Pokémon special events, these are actually so cool. Really the stuff of imagination. You mean to tell me there's actually a secret area in the game with a rare Pokemon I've always wanted? Here I was thinking I was wasting my time beating the Elite Four 1600 times and smashing my head repeatedly into the door of some random dude's house in Canalabe City. Alas, as cool as these events are, they usually can only be triggered by receiving a code, usually attained by going to a real-life promotional event. And that, my friend, requires social responsibility, but also risking my body getting absolutely riddled with pistol rounds entering New York for whatever reason. But not all Pokemon events are created equal, mind you. Nowadays, Pokemon event is just a code and then Pokemon's equivalent of UPS drops you a level 100 deity in the mail, chuck a sticker on there and get some priority shipping for literal Satan in the post. But, back in the day, things could get weird, like actual PNGs of Japan in my Pocket Monster game weird. So let's look at one of my favorite Pokemon promotional events ever, and one that I think's been lost to time a little bit. The Sinjoh Ruins. Looking back, Pokemon Generation 4 really had the coolest events. Do you remember the absurdly long path of flowers leading to Shaman? Do you remember New Moon Island? The land containing Darkrai, only accessible from the world's worst rated Airbnb and frankly this very uncomfortable host. All of those are cool, but imagine an area of the Pokemon map so obtuse, it doesn't even exist in a region. So Sinjoh Ruins, what is it? How do you access it? Well, in Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, the Ruins of Alph is pretty bloody useless to be honest. But if you do happen to have an Arceus either from event or obtained at the Hall of Origin, which you can't get, an archaeologist will be waiting for you. And I love how this guy's just like, oh, this is a Pokemon from Sinnoh, the one they call Arceus. Like, yeah, just be dead ass dude, you rocked up to my workplace with God strapped to your side. Go home, man. Do this, and this fellow here insists this must be the cause of some disturbance at the ruins that is going on currently. What kind of disturbance is this? Not really explained, but the archaeologist just says that the unknown have been acting a fool recently. Anyway, none of that matters, you've just been teleported. Aight, ballin', we're finally at the ruins now. Now, this is an area that exists off-map, one of the very few ones for Pokemon. What's here? Well, seemingly very little, but a cabin, and a funky-ass altar and a cave. Oh, and speaking of cabins, hey Cynthia! Yeah, that's right. Sinnoh's past champion randomly makes an appearance in this event, sort of acting as a guide telling you a little bit about this place. Like, for instance, that funky altar? Yeah, that's called the Mystery Stage. Yeah, mystery spelt like a 4-year-old attempting to write with the same crayon he just spent the last 30 minutes chewing on like a goddamn rodent. Anyway, that Mystery Stage, kind of important. Apparently a stage meant to worship Arceus and whatnot. But you might be asking me at this point, this is just a crusty old set of ruins. How is this Pokemon's weirdest special event? My city's infrastructure is worse than this place. What gives? Clearly, you've never stepped on this kind of stage before. Here on this stage, you can choose from one of 3 circles to stand on, each indicating time, space, and antimatter respectively. Basically, kids, Arceus is gonna pop an egg right in front of you and birth a new god. What's hilarious about this to me though is, Game Freak was just like, yeah, let's make an event where a new god is made. Let's make it super biblical. Let's make it epic. Alright guys, what's epic? What's biblical here? Add unknown. It's a good start. Let's add a bunch of random fuck off geometric shapes. What else can we add here? What's cinematic? Yeah, let's just use some grainy ass PNGs of the real world. Now, after having your life permanently changed, an egg magically spawns and you get a level 1 version of one of the Sinnoh legendaries, proving legendaries can come from eggs, and that one dude on X and Y Online multiplayer wasn't lying to me years later. Which does cause Cynthia to muse, did we just witness the very moment an egg was brought into the world? A moment no one has ever seen? Which is absolutely hilarious considering Pokemon is committing to the bit about nobody knowing where the fuck a Pokemon egg comes from. Which means I'm forced to assume, instead of Pokemon dewing the dew, what canonically happens instead is a bunch of 2000s ass PNGs appear and biblical music starts playing every single time you want to mate a Pokemon with Ditto for your perfect competitive team. Also, the moment this happens, you just magically get teleported back to the ruins of Alph. And unfortunately for you, if you were looking for an explanation as to what happened in your Pokemon-related Datura trip right there, Mr. Archaeologist has no answers for you. So, what did we learn here today? Well, precisely nothing, except for the fact that we now canonically know that Pokemon don't lay eggs, and, any fan art depicting the act of creating such an egg is now canonically void, and I want you all fucking arrested.